Hey guys, I don't know if you can hear right now. Trying to connect the stream currently, but we will be up very soon. Hold on. Just want to make sure I'm showing up on my YouTube. Alright. Okay. I think I'm a little delayed on here, but I'm waiting for Steven to join. He should be coming pretty soon.
Hello?
Oh, hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, hang on, that's really loud. I gotta turn my volume down.
Oh, okay. Let me,
okay.
And can you see me?
Not yet. Hang on one second here. Oh my goodness. Okay, I need to fix this volume.
No worries.
Okay, there you are.
Okay.
Okay, trying to adjust my volume here.
No worries, take your time.
Okay, I got it working now.
Okay.
Let me see if this works.
See you. Oh my god, am I going to be able to see you this time?
Yes!
Yay! Look at your cosplay!
I posted a full picture of it. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up now.
Love it. I saw that you posted it.
Thank you.
And I can't share it on my YouTube though, right?
I mean, you can share it. Oh. Yeah, you should be able to put it on your... Just put it underneath the overlay where the...
Oh, well, I just have your picture right now.
Huh?
Like, I don't have your webcam, remember? Like, I just have your picture of...
No, you should have it because I'm able to share it on Discord, so you just use the Discord window capture.
Oh,
That's all you gotta do.
So, where it says... How do I do that?
Oh, dang, you're cutting out a bit here. So when you go to that plus sign, you know, to add a new thing, a new source.
Mm-hmm. Oh, go to window capture?
What is Discord listed as? Okay, so you're gonna add a window capture.
Uh-huh.
And then it's gonna be, you're gonna choose discord.exe.
So
and then it should say 16-bit Steven Discord.
Source. Alright, hold on one second. Because I want everyone to see your cosplay. I know this is... so it says under Essential Sources, it just says Window Capture.
Yeah.
And then when I hit Add Source, nothing comes under it. It just says Window Capture.
Well, no, you double-click it, and then you should get a thing that a window should pop up, and it should... Because you're going to add a new one. You want to click to add a new one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did that. Add new source.
Yeah, and then
window capture.
When you do the drop down, it should the drop down menu where it says window. You should have an option that says Discord.
Okay. Well, if I don't want to use up all the time, so if I don't, oh, now I have 2 window captures opened.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure this out.
I don't know why. I'm gonna use my other headphones.
Oh, okay. The sound is kind of like not working.
Oh, I see.
Do you want to pause for now?
No, I can use these. I should be able to use these. Alright, properties, source. Okay, yeah, I can't use these.
Oh, do you want to pause for now and I could end it for now and then we'll come back? While we figure it out?
Let me see here. Sorry, this is my fault.
It's okay. No worries.
Okay, so that's running. Still on speakers. Wait. Bring this up. Let me do this. Wait, where's the volume? No, that's not what I want. Coming in. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm still trying to figure out this window capture thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to get all the audio. For some reason, because I tried to use my other headphones, the audio is really screwing with me right now.
Yeah, that's why I haven't been using... They
should be able to hear you now.
Okay, cool. That's why I haven't been using, what do I have up here? What is this? That's why I haven't been using the, hold on. Okay.
I need to try. I turned the volume way down because with my earbuds it was like blasting.
Oh, okay.
But I'm trying to see how I turn this volume back up because I can barely hear you right now.
Is it because I could hear myself on my end and you?
Yeah, no, it's on my end because I lowered the volume. Hang on, let me
no worries.
Turn off camera for a sec. There it is.
All right, are we good?
Sounds like it.
Cool.
I'll turn my camera back on now.
Okay. I still don't know how to share your cosplay, which makes me sad, but it's fine.
It's okay.
We'll have to.
Okay, yeah, they can hear her fine. They can hear you fine now.
Yay,
all right, I'm gonna adjust my camera a little bit here.
Plus, I can always like watch this back on your Discord, right?
Yeah, I'll upload the video.
Cool.
But I sent you that outline as well.
Yes. Do you see it? It's up on my YouTube. I see all the new characters. It looks awesome.
Yeah, I was pretty hype about that.
Yeah, it looks awesome. You're really good at making overlays, Steven.
Thanks.
For anybody watching on my YouTube.
My audio is for double though.
Oh.
I'm echoing? Wait, is it still echoing?
No, you sound fine on my end.
No, my viewers are saying that I'm echoing.
Oh.
I mean, I'll record it, and then we'll have the rest. We'll have the whole thing.
Sure.
Mute your mic in OBS. Mute your mic in OBS. Oh. Okay. So wait a minute. Can you still? Okay. So I know you can. So I don't know if they can still hear me. Okay. Okay. So, yo, Udami, what's up?
Your cosplay does look awesome.
Love you too, Udami. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for the compliment. I do appreciate that. This thing, I was very fortunate that it fits okay. The boots are very difficult. But like everything else is
it looks good. Is this your newest cosplay?
Yeah, I need to get the wig styled better. Like, I have the one little loop that goes in the front.
Yeah.
But, like, it's still, like, too far off to the side. Like, I'm gonna have it professionally styled, I think, before MomoCon.
His hair is definitely very spiky.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I'd have to bleach my hair like 3 times if I wanted to get it to that color naturally, and that's just no.
Yeah, could be a little damaging to the hair doing it that way.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
But I was excited to get this. I remember I texted you the picture of this cosplay on the website, and I was like, should I do it? And you're like, oh my god, yes!
Of course! Hunter is such a cool cosplay. I feel like I'm like...
Well, and I was... Go ahead.
Oh, no, I just wanted to say I wanted to take a pic with you quick, but I feel like I'm frozen on your Twitch. Am I frozen or no?
You are yeah, you are.
Why am I... See,
you cancel your camera, or take your camera down and then, or disable it and then re-enable it.
Can you hear me, though?
Oh, I can hear you.
Okay.
You're not frozen on my Discord.
I feel like
Okay, you're moving on my Twitch again.
Oh, okay. I don't see it, but it's alright. I just feel like it's like streaming on 2 different platforms is so tricky. Like, I don't know why it, like, I feel like since I stream from YouTube and
you're moving on my Streamlabs. Let me open this up on, I need to open this up on not only Twitch, but I also need to open it up on YouTube.
Okay. Because I think I'm moving okay on YouTube. Like, I see myself moving on your Twitch now a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I have 2 webcams now. I need to, like, get away where I can set them. Okay, let me see.
It's okay.
Okay, yep.
I mean,
okay,
as we could discuss.
That's going to be muted. I'm going to close that, and I'm going to open your stream on... Okay, well, yep, that was loud.
My stream on YouTube, you can't see you, unfortunately.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'll share, like, the picture I posted, and we can, like, I can clip a still image from this.
Yeah, that's fine.
Twitch can hear your co-star.
Alright, well...
Okay, Daddy Smoothie says now it's good. Okay. So I'm going to start recording, and then we can do introductions and get into it.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Alright, so I got recording now. I can cut it wherever. So, alright. What's up, guys? Welcome back. 16-Bit Steven here, and I am joined by...
Kelly, or Kelly True Thoughts.
Yep, or Kelly and MCC, or, you know, I'm sure there's like 100 usernames you've got. So... We didn't quite get to do this weekly for a little bit. Some stuff's been going on for both of us, and but we're back, and we're back a couple days earlier than we thought we would be because scheduling again is complicated. But there have been 3 insane episodes of the Owl House since we last did this, and I think if I'm not mistaken, you and I both have a new favorite episode.
Definitely.
Different episodes too.
Oh, yes, true. Yes, which is exciting. And even if we have different ones, that's still exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the last 3 episodes have just been like intensity, which has been pretty awesome and something I'm very excited about. So I can't wait to talk about that today. And we definitely want to hear from you guys, what you guys think as well. Yeah, I mean, you know, as Steven mentioned, like, we've both been going through some things, but we made this work, and I'm sorry that we had to take a week off, but what an exciting time to be back, you know? Especially with these episodes.
I've still got King on hand.
Oh, I promise one day I will get my King plush. He's so
They are,
cute.
last I saw, they're in stock.
Really?
I saw they're in stock.
I feel
both
like part of me wants the cheerleader one, kind of.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Because it's cute. And
we would have different
Classic
ones.
King is so cute too, so I'm conflicted. But when I get my King one day, we will have matching Kings, and it'll be so fun.
Oh yeah, do that for like the season finale at the end of May or something.
Wait, is it?
It doesn't take that long to ship them.
When is the season finale?
The season finale is the final weekend of May. It's Memorial Day weekend.
Okay, wow. So that's like coming pretty soon.
We've got 5 more episodes this season, and then we've got the season 3 specials.
Oh man, that's sad. I don't want it to be over.
Yeah, well, someone needs to go watch Amphibia. So,
True, and I actually am getting into a lot of the lore of the show. So just so you guys know, I will be continuing Amphibia. I know you guys are really excited about me watching that, and I'm excited too. So yes, that will be happening. Yeah, but I think we should talk about some Owl House for right now, for sure.
absolutely. I'm always down for the Hoot House.
Also,
So,
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say when we are finished with the Owl House. Oh, but you said there's season 3 specials, so then it's technically not over in May.
Yeah, it'll just be when we're done with this season.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I was thinking it would be fun. I mean, to keep these going, and maybe we could start with like a fun, like maybe we could do like geek out about a different cartoon every Friday or something.
Oh, absolutely. I think that would be wonderful.
Yeah,
Could do like a Steven Universe podcast, and we'll check out some other stuff.
that would be fun. Yeah, definitely. Maybe we could go back to Steven, back to our roots.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Started it all.
if you guys want to say anything about the episodes, feel free to comment at any time. We love to
Absolutely.
interact with viewers. So if you
How
guys...
dare you put Valos instead of Hunter here? Okay, so Cartoonish Claude, my reasoning behind that is because you can't see it right now, but I am currently cosplayed as Hunter. So that's where Hunter is in the stream, but
Yeah.
I am dressed up as Hunter.
We're going to be
The
talking
Ghost of
about
Molly
Hunter
McGee,
as
I have
well.
not watched that yet. That is definitely an option.
Wait, watch what?
The Ghost and Molly McGee. Someone in your chat asked about that.
I've heard about that, actually. It looked cute to me, like very interesting.
Yeah, it definitely does. I'm curious about it.
I'd be down.
So anyway, no, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just said I'd be down to check it out.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into the first of the 3 episodes, and we'll go chronologically. So Reaching Out
Yes.
was the first of the 3 episodes. Now, I'm going to give you the floor for this one for obvious reasons.
Okay.
So take it away and give us your thoughts on Reaching Out.
Sure. Well, Reaching Out was an episode of Owl House that I felt was my personal favorite. One of mine, like, top favorites for sure. And that's because I feel that it surprised me a lot. Like, I didn't really feel... I mean, obviously the last episode we're going to talk about today was the most surprising one. But I will say Reaching Out was, I feel, like a very different, unique episode for Owl House in that... we got this beautiful moment with Luce and Amity where they kind of played on 2 different struggles that they both had with their dads, and we finally learned the truth about Luce's dad, which is something that was so devastating and I was not expecting. And I just think that the way they handled Luce opening up to Amity about this thing that she's been holding back, and trying to avoid and trying to distract herself from, I thought they did it in such like a real beautiful way and had them connect in such a vulnerable way. And I feel like not even just for like the progression of the 2 of them as a couple, but I just feel like every character in that episode was so well connected in terms of like the theme of like vulnerability and acceptance. Whereas, we learned that Amity's father, even though he's worried about her and he's upset that she's doing the battle arena thing, he still at the end is like, I like your hair purple. Like, they have this cute little moment. And then with Amity's siblings, we learn that, how they really look all the time is not how we've seen them throughout the whole show when they use those, what were they called again? Those
Concealing
stones. Yeah, we learn that, they've been hiding insecurities as well. And we even get this really sweet moment with, what's his name? The twin brother. I always forget. Edric. With Edric, Ida, and King, where we learn like Edric always just wanted to feel accepted and important. And on top of it, Luce, like, she's never opened up to anyone about her father passing away until she opened up to Amity. So that was a hard moment for her. And, they both connect on that. So I loved the way that they handled emotions and really tough topics, such as, wanting your parents' approval, feeling like you don't fit in, grieving in silence, and, trying to feel like you're over it, but you're obviously not. And for me, that hit home for personal reasons as well. I've had like a lot of deaths in my family over the past like 6 months, so it's definitely like really, for me, it was a very, I think I was just like personally affected by it, and I just thought it was done in a beautiful artistic way. And it was very I don't know, I just loved it all around. It was I thought it was a unique episode of the show. What do you think, Steven? Did you feel like it had like a different feel than some of the other episodes?
I think it was heavy.
Yeah.
And not in the manner that we're used to with, episodes like Agony of a Witch and Knock Knock Knocking on Hootie's Door, and Echoes of the Past, which are all in my top 5.
Yeah.
But, and Agony of a Witch, prior to these 3 episodes, was my favorite episode as, and then Hootie and then Echoes. So they were actually 1, 2, 3. And so but this was very heavy in a different way. And I think it was, I think it was a really good job that they did. It was a brave topic to tackle with Luce's dad.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of, I'm going to take it a little deeper than just acknowledging that Luce's dad passed, because if memory serves me from what I remember reading, Dana actually lost her father when she was, I think, 11. And if you think about when the Abomaton returned with the Emerald Dagger that they didn't expect it to ever find, they told it to go get that so they could get rid of it, the siren inside the Abomaton went off. Now, that might come back into the plotline later on, but I think the reason that hit Luce so hard wasn't just that Amity would get found, but because if memory serves me again, when Dana's father died, it was in a car crash. So there would have been sirens.
Right.
So I almost wonder if maybe she has it in the story where Luce lost her dad in a car crash.
She could.
And that could play a role, and that have that kind of connection between the showrunner who's writing these characters, the stories, and all of this, and incorporating a piece of her own past that's always going to be with her into it.
Which is, again, like you said, so brave and hard to do.
Oh, it is.
But
it's very tough to do, and to think that it might not have even been the tough. It was. I think it was the toughest personal thing for Dana to do in these 3 episodes. But it may, as for the crew as a whole, and by publication standards, I think there is something that is alluded to at the very least that is far more controversial that was brought in, but not in this episode. The other thing I do want to say is that we know Alador, I mean, he was very, and I have ADHD, and I see him as very ADD or ADHD. We saw that in Escaping Expulsion when he was constantly picking at Bump's talisman on his head, chasing around butterflies and stuff like that. It was very clear that he's easily distracted.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I can absolutely, I feel that in myself because I'm the same way. And I loved, I understood that, he wasn't doing a good job of parenting because he wasn't paying enough attention to what was going on with his kids and his wife and how she's been treating them. But we learned that it was Odalia that wanted Amity to go into the Emperor's Coven, and that Amity thought that's what she wanted until she met Luce and became, reconnected with Willow, became friends with Gus, and discovered all of this stuff. And then, of course, what happened with the petrification ceremony, even though she wasn't there, she no doubt knew about it. And, I mean, everybody did. And it's really... It really, I think, it was a nice connection between Alador and Amity. And I also appreciated how real it was that Amity didn't just hug him right away, but, because she's like, no, this is going to take some time, which made it feel very real.
And also,
I think... So,
oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think that rather than just making it up right away...
Yeah, with her
they
dad.
They made it feel really real, but seeing all of this and seeing that Alador is able to react to the Abomatons, even though Bellows is supposed to have all of them, we learned that he has at least 1, 2 that's his, probably the same. It could be the same one that was his family's butler, only improved, and B, it means that even if Bellows has them, he can still control them and appear.
Yeah.
So if he, is okay with Amity not wanting to join a coven, and he didn't seem like he was friendly with Ida, but he didn't seem to have a problem with her.
Right.
And that tells me that there is a good chance that down the line he could definitely become a resistance witch. Which, again, we'll get into that topic here in a little bit, too.
Well, and also, like, you're reminding me now that Ida and Alador had, like, this little moment in the episode, too, that kind of made me like, Like, it did seem like maybe they were a little friendly. Like, it wasn't like they were, like, buddies, but it was
but they definitely knew each other from when they were in Hexside.
Right. Yeah, but it also kind of seemed like a whole, like, oh, our kids are dating kind of thing. Like, I got that vibe between them, like, as if they were kind of like, all right, we know what's going on with these two.
Because
which
Amity mentioned it to Alador and said, like, did you even realize I'm dating Luce? And he says, Edelin's kid? And so it's like, he's aware of that. He's not just aware that she's there on the Isles. Like, he knows that she lives with Ida.
Yeah.
And...
yeah.
So it's and he gave Ida gave him a talking to about that whole thing too, from Escaping Expulsion, where she was where they used her to promote their products and what Odalia did, and she's like, I've got my eyes on you, Blight. And it was very clear. But in the end of that episode, it was Alador who finally stood up to Odalia and said, "You made a deal with your daughter," and forced her to keep it.
Yeah, that's true.
She wasn't going to.
Yeah, and
I mean, like, Odalia just strikes me as a gold digger. Like, I mean, she's very Umbridge-like to me, like from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I know there's another character that's now being compared to Umbridge that I think Odalia fits the mold more, but I mean, she wasn't even in that episode. It was Alador. I was thrilled to see him. I was originally going to wear my Alador cosplay for this video, but this stream.
What's funny?
After what happened in a certain episode, I was like, and this having come in the mail, I'm like, no, we got to do this one.
When you said you were doing a cosplay tonight, I was like low-key having a panic attack because I thought you were going to come on here as Bellows, and I would have jumped out of my chair, and I would have
no, don't do
that.
I don't have the wig for Bellows, so I can only do him masked, and my mask was made of clay, and it's broken. But yes, I do own a Bellows cosplay.
I thought you were going to play a trick on me and scare me as Bellows, and I was like...
No. I've been tempted to do maskless Bellows if I can get the wig, because... like the paint across my face and whatever would not be difficult.
True, yeah, you could easily do that. I just didn't feel like being scared out of my seat.
Well, I've got the hunter scar drawn on here.
Oh, wow.
But I need like real makeup for that instead of, a dry erase marker.
I hear I definitely...
You gotta dress up as an e-girl. There will be, at some point during one of my subathons, Suko, there will be a point where you can get me... If we get far enough in the subathon to cosplay as KDA Akali, that is the thing that's going to happen if a certain goal is met. I'll let you guys know in the future when that is, but yes, you will see me do a cosplay as a girl if we get to a certain goal.
I will be there.
Anyway, so it's is anything else you wanted to say on that episode?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to add on, like, what you said, too, about, like, Amity's dad and how she wasn't so quick to, like, hug him and make everything okay. First of all, Alador had dropped the best line in the whole episode, in my opinion, when at the end, he's like, oh, Alador won, he gets the trophy, and he's like, I already have one, and he just walks away.
Oh, I laughed out loud when he did that. Yeah.
I was like, that's, like, one of the best lines I've ever heard in this show, like, ever. It was, like, such a drop the whatever it's called.
It was a mic drop
moment. Mic drop moment.
And to me that quote did two things. Number one, it certified him as the ultimate badass in that family.
Hell yeah.
And number two, it really showed father-son dynamic with Edric, because I could totally see Edric doing that if he pulled off a prank with an illusion.
That's true.
He would say the same damn thing. Like,
that's true.
So I see a lot of it, I think all three of the Blight kids, but I especially, like, Edric and Amity particularly, I can see.
The Blight kids are pretty awesome. Like, they're pretty bad.
The only one I can't stand Odalia. I love all three kids, and I love Alador.
Yeah, me too.
Like, it's only Odalia that bothers me.
I love Alador now, too, after getting to know him more, and, like, the one final thing I wanted to add was, like, in that moment when she wasn't so quick to hug him and he made the comment about her hair, I know that's such, like, a small, subtle comment, but that would be, and I know this because, like, I'm close with my dad now, but, like, it took me a really long time to get close with my dad, personally, because we never, like, had a really close relationship, and, like, saying something small like that, so simple, but, like, you know what, I like the fact that you changed your hair color. That is something that, like, a dad would say that's not super close with his kid, but he's trying his best to connect.
Yeah.
And there's something so beautiful and, like, loving about that, even though all the words aren't there. They're just there in that one sentence. Do you know what I mean? And I thought that was, like, a really beautiful, like, genuine moment between the two of them, even though it wasn't, like, all these hugs and kisses and, like, oh, everything's fine now. Like, I thought, like, the show wrote that in a really, like, beautifully subtle way that was relatable as well. So.
Well, and another thing I think is that we had a moment with, that was in that same moment where, we learned that, Alador points this out, and we learned that the reason she chose light purple hair is because it's abomination colored.
And he says that too.
Because he says that, and then, but it's like he says that and he likes it, but then she says, finally, someone gets it.
It's abomination colored. I literally, like, awed out loud at that part. I was like, oh, he said it's abomination colored. That's so
well, and then she confirms that that's what it was. Finally someone gets it. And it's like so it's like it wasn't just that he saw that and it was happenstance. Like it was meant to be.
Yeah, I just loved that episode so much. And even just, this is the last thing I'll say about it, because I know we have to talk about two other very exciting episodes. It did make me feel the way that I felt, like, the first time watching, like, Steven Universe, or, cartoons that made me really, like, fall in love with, like, these, like, they're for kids, but also they have deep topics as well. It really reminded me of the fact that, like, cartoons are getting, like, tackling really, like, human issues and, like, experiences that are hard to talk about, and for kids seeing these beautiful relationships forming and, like, having to handle the hard stuff and being it portrayed in a way where, like, it's accepted to be vulnerable and to be sad and to be going through something. You don't have to bury that down. They portrayed that great with Luce over the past few episodes.
They really did. And the communication, which you mentioned, and this is the second time we've seen it just in the last few episodes, because it was in Follies at the Coven Day Parade as well.
Yeah.
And, I love seeing that, very mature, like, beyond mature level of communication between the two of them that a lot of adult couples don't have.
Yeah.
And, it's a great role model for anybody when it comes to, not just a dating relationship, but any relationship,
Any relationship.
And
friendships.
I think there's a lot that can be learned from that. And it's really wonderful.
It really
is. Going forward, I think the other thing that all these shows are doing, and you mentioned Steven Universe, which obviously falls into this category as well, is that they are, so many of these characters, it's like black and white, good and evil, but then you learn that that's really not the case.
Yeah.
Like, we thought, before, even after escaping expulsion, some people were like, oh, Alador's a horrible person. He will, you can't do anything to help him. Like, Amity was a bully at the beginning, but then, like, you learn the layers of these characters and that, people can change and there are reasons why these things happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it right for someone to mistreat someone. It's never okay.
No.
But it is, like, we learn a lot about the human psyche, I think.
We do. And I love the Owl House.
It's really wonderful.
The Owl House is doing an amazing job at that. And I think even...
Absolutely.
even with like the older characters as well, it's not even just what the kids are going through. Like it's the adults as well, which I think is
you look at Ida and Lilith,
Yep.
you know, and even Gwendolyn and how she handled that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna see a lot about King coming up here in a few days.
I'm gonna freak out. Okay, I need to get my King plush in time for our King stream. By the last episode, I will have it. If it comes in the mail in time. I don't know.
Mystery Shack is pretty good about quick shipping.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because I'm like determined.
Yeah.
So
if we should probably go ahead here and move on to an episode that, based on the title alone, had me terrified.
Yeah.
No pun intended, but in hindsight, pun intended. This episode is called Them's the Breaks, Kid, and I was so scared of a Lumity breakup in this episode. Based on the, Them's the Breaks, Kid, she broke up with her. You know, and it wouldn't have been because they didn't want to be together. It would have been Amity, the way I thought about it, would have been Amity trying to protect Luce, maybe if she was getting pressed into the coven, or her mom was threatening, or whatever, but that never even came up. Yeah. This episode, and again, I'm going to let you have the floor first here, because I am going to claim the floor first when we get into our final topic.
Okay.
But this episode was something completely different.
It was, and it definitely was. I mean, it was, actually, Stephen, I think you even predicted this last time we talked. You said, I feel like it's going to be Ida talking about what happened with her and Rain. I remember you said that.
Yeah.
You mentioned that, and then when I saw that was actually happening in the episode, I was like, Steven, you literally guessed everything, but we will get into that. But, props to you. Congratulations. You did a very good job. Yeah, but basically, this episode was, I was not expecting an Ida and Rain flashback episode. I kind of was, very delighted when I found out we were getting one of those, because it wasn't what I thought was going to happen. And then Ida was just like, oh my god, story time, this is how I met Rain. And I was like, oh, we're going to actually learn about that.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought, overall, the episode was very, it was very cute to me. I had fun with this episode. I had a very good time with this episode. And it was really funny to see Ida and Rain as kids, because I feel like they were essentially exactly the same. I feel like they haven't changed personality-wise and demeanor and just how they were. It was just so cute to me, and it was really amazing that they've had that connection for so long. I didn't realize they were that young when they first met. I always thought maybe they were teenagers, but they seemed really young. Maybe Luce's age.
Yeah, probably about 13, 14. Probably about Luce's age.
Mm-hmm. Because they only showed flashbacks of them older. Maybe late 20s or late teens or something.
There is an Easter egg if you go back to the episode Wing It Like Witches in the first season, where when Ida's going through her old Hexside pictures, where she is locked, she has her arm locked with another witch whose face you can't see, but the skin tone is darker, and they are wearing barred track colors, with all red. So when you piece two and two, at least for me, that was definitely Rain. So that was actually the first time we saw Rain. So we knew Rain went to Hexside, but it was interesting to see that they actually did not start at Hexside. They actually went to St. Epiderm, which is one of the other two schools that we've heard mentioned along with Glandis.
Right, and then transfers.
No,
right?
No, I'm sorry. I love the way they name the schools. Hexside is different, but the other two, they're both in relation to the Titan's skin. Mm-hmm. You know, the epidermis of the skin is Saint Epiderm, and then Glandis is you have glands, a sweat gland or whatever, and so I think it's really creative how they did that.
It is creative, definitely.
But I loved seeing the whole thing. We got to see Terra Snapdragon again as a younger witch. I don't know if she was still the head of the Plant Coven at that point, but
Oh my goodness. Tara in that episode, I was just like, girl, have you always been evil? Like, what? Like, who hurt you? Like, seriously, like a million times I was like, what? Why? Like, why is she so. I just really want to understand how she became who she is. Because
Well, and it's like, no, go ahead.
Well, we got to see other coven leaders, right? And we got to learn a little bit about Darius, and we've learned that he isn't altogether a bad guy. We talked about that last time.
No, he's not a bad guy at all.
Yeah, so it's like, Tara, like, I really want to understand how she became to be the way she is and so ruthless and just, like, wanting to cause this chaos. I don't know if you know anything about the lore of that, Steven. Like, have you...
Not too much. I mean, she kind of looks like a Pokemon to me. Like, there's a Pokemon called Marini, and there's another one called Serena, and they both kind of remind me of Tara.
Wait,
like, I would not at all be surprised if her designs were young and old, were based somewhat off of those Pokemon.
Wait, you're so right. She does kind of look like that, like a Pokemon. Like those plants.
Yeah, there are two Pokemon that she reminds me of.
Is it like the one with, I forget her name, she's like a rose Pokemon with like the flower vine dress or something? She's
yeah.
Very tall and slender, like a very elegant looking Pokemon.
Yep.
Tara does look like a freaking Pokemon.
Serena.
How have I never noticed this?
Yeah. See, like, I mean, we know King was loosely based on Cubone.
Loosely.
Like parts of him. But, like, it's so funny. And, you know, the thing is, like, with Tara, if and when she finds out, like, you know, what we'll get into here in a little bit, like, what is going on, I think she's going to be a lot more hurt by this than someone like Rain or Darius, you know, someone who we know is a resistance witch.
That's a good point.
Which, again, in this episode, we learned a little bit more about Darius in that regard at the very end.
And also, Tara is, like... Oh, yeah, go ahead. Tara, I feel, is kind of old school, too. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's definitely one of the older coven heads. She definitely, I think, is more closed-minded. She's not as open-minded. She's very much, like, you know... and it's kind of sad because I do find Tara's design to be kind of cool. Like, I feel like if she was a resistance witch or she had, like, some good to her, I would really like Tara. Because she's pretty cool and badass, but... she's ruthless.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. She's like, you know, whoever doesn't win, we're gonna, you know, we're gonna turn you into my mulch, and then someone's gotta be like, that's illegal. And then she's like, oh, well, we're gonna do this instead. That's also illegal. Oh, you won't let me have any fun. It's like, you literally talking about murdering kids here. Like, stop it.
Pretty messed up.
Not cool. Not cool.
Like,
that is so twisted.
Yeah, super twisted.
You know, I really... The last thing I think that, the last, like, lore and character development thing I really want to touch on here was at the end of the episode we see, well, we learned during the episode that when they were younger, were able to change the flavor and essentially the components of a drink by whistling on it.
Yeah.
And so we learned that they probably were never brainwashed by Tara's tea.
Yep. Because
they were whistling on it. And we see this once again at the end of the episode. We see them do this with Ida's drink in their childhood. And then, you know, Darius's, this based on the design, this had to be one of Darius's abominations that came through the brick at the, you know, presumably somewhere in the palace at the end, and delivered the letter to Rain about the draining spell. And they ask, you know, is there a counter? And the abomination hands them the paper that says Owl Lady. And then they say, well, I don't want to endanger her again. We'll have to figure out something else. Because, and that is very consistent with what happened in Follies at the Coven Day Parade, where they acted like they weren't going to team up with Ida because they don't want to endanger her. And so what looked like they had been brainwashed by Tara's tea, and presumably that was the meaning behind Tara and what she was trying to do, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
But not only do you think it's working based on that, but it also they're trying not to endanger Ida anymore because they care deeply for her still.
Which is nice to know, because honestly, that little interaction between the two of them, it did hurt to watch, you know. And I did for a second think that that Rain, you know, was kind of like over it. Like, but now you realize that they were just trying to save Ida and not harm her. And also, I'm not surprised at all that that they were, you know, changing the flavor of the tea the whole time, because Rain is super smart. And we even see this when they're younger. Like, Rain has always been like one step ahead, very quick thinker with very unique powers. Like, I actually think out of all the characters, Rain has the most like very interesting, unique powers that I think I haven't seen in a
debatable, but they are definitely up there.
Definitely up there, yeah. So it's really nice to know that, like, they were just trying to protect Ida the whole time, and, you know, I'm not worried about Rain as much anymore. Like, I have more faith that Rain's gonna be okay, because initially I was worried, but now I'm feeling more like, all right, like, they're gonna survive this and figure out something and come up with a plan.
Well, and the last thing for me, like, with Rain, like, I get flashback to the episode of Ida's Requiem, where we were first introduced to Rain.
Yeah.
It was Darius and Everwolf who were sent to trap Rain and Ida and the rest of the bats. And notice that when Kiki Morris showed up, Darius is the one that says, I told you we didn't need any backup. We didn't need help. Which kind of makes me think that he didn't want Kikimora there, because now that we know that Darius is also a resistance witch, he may, you know, I think there's, you know, and I'll go further into this in a little bit, like, I believe Darius already was a resistance witch at that point, and the reason that he got himself and Everwolf assigned to that is because I don't think they actually planned on capturing Rain. Or whoever was up to it. But because Kikimora showed up, that changed everything.
Right.
And then we learned about, you know, Darius's rivalry with Alador, and in Them's the Breaks Kids, we see Darius, Alador, and Odalia all sitting on the steps together.
I know. That's such a good point.
So now it's like, is there a love triangle that was going on here? Like, what's going on with this? Like,
oh yeah, because
I don't know.
Darius and Alador have
I don't know, but I really have, especially over these last few episodes, have grown to really like Darius a lot. Yeah. I always liked his design.
Me too.
But I really like this character.
Well, that last
episode,
and
I love where his story is going.
I like that he's a resistance witch, and that last episode with him and Hunter made me really like Darius a lot. So it's like, it's pretty exciting that like some of the Coven heads are like not on board with this. Because
and we don't know with a lot of them, because we're only really familiar with 4 of the Coven heads.
True. Well, how many are there? Do they mention like
9?
9? Oh, dang.
Well, Hunter was the 10th, because he was the head of the Emperor's Coven, sans the Emperor himself. But we'll get into that.
We have a comment
any
here.
Final thoughts on that episode before we move on?
Well, we have a comment here from King Hijinks that says, this episode was much more lighthearted and was a nice break in between the sadness of reaching out and the horror of Hollow Mind. I think that's a perfect way to sum it up, because it really was.
I don't know what...
It wasn't super lighthearted all the way, but I had fun with that episode, and I do think it was kind of nice to have that. And, like... I also, I don't know why, but like freaking, what's his name? Principal Bunch was killing
we
me.
Have to mention this guy,
in this episode.
Principal Faust. Oh my god.
Faust!
You want to talk about nightmare fuel? You know, you have an episode with Tara talking about grinding up kids into mulch, and she's not even the scariest character in the episode.
No.
Because of this guy.
No, we need to talk about Principal Faust. How did we forget about Principal Faust? Like, seriously, as soon as I saw him...
the way he turns his neck, like... Ugh.
Literally, as soon as I saw him, I was just like, this is the principal that Ida had to go to school with. Like, imagine getting detention and having that...
Well, and then it was Tara that kept her in school and from being expelled.
True. Good point.
And we see a younger principal Bump, you know, who went with Ida to, he was vice principal at the time, you know, who went to the competition with Ida.
Yeah. But I liked Principal Bump.
And that was really cool, too.
Principal
Bump's great.
I loved him. I mean, I feel like we just saw such, like a softer side to him in this episode, and I really thought he was just cracking me up. I don't know why. Like, he was like, I'm just trying my best here. Like, I don't know, don't look at me. Like, I just liked his reactions to things. But yeah, Principal Faust will haunt my dreams forever. I don't think I've ever seen a character design that scary. Like, he's scary. I don't know. But
Lost gave me. Okay, so I'm gonna jump to Steven Universe for a split second.
Okay.
Lost gave me Frybo vibes.
Oh man, like that unsettling of a feeling.
That thing was terrifying.
Yeah, Frybo was terrifying. You're right.
Yeah,
it was kind of like.
And it's funny that you go way back, like Frybo and Cat Fingers aired back to back. No! I'm like, yeah, that's not traumatic.
Dude, Cat Fingers traumatized me more than Frybo, I think. Cat Fingers. Ugh.
Oh yeah. That at the end of it, yeah.
I don't like body horror. Body horror like freaks me out a lot.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway. We have one more episode to discuss, and this was probably the happiest, most lighthearted, kindest, funniest episode ever. You know, wouldn't you agree?
It was. It was really.
Nothing serious happened. No one was emotionally hurt. You know, we didn't all end up in therapy afterward.
Yeah, we didn't all have panic attacks by the end.
Hollow Mind. This is my new favorite episode of the show. Holy shit. Nikes. I'm gonna catch myself there.
It's okay.
Oh my god. Okay, so I was already beyond hyped for this episode. We had seen the still image of Kid Bellows, and there was the preview that dropped, which was essentially just a little bit before the very abbreviated intro, where Luce wakes up, doesn't know where she is, and then Hunter says, "You got us trapped in the Emperor's mind." Mm-hmm. And you see the painting of, you know, Bellows and Ida, and it says, and you can even see Lilith and King, and it says triumph over wild magic. Well, when they fall down into the real mind, the biggest thing that I think, you know, some people are either all in on this or they didn't catch it enough, and that is, I wanted to make sure and look at every single one of those pictures when they got into his real mind with the trees and all of that stuff. And see, like, what is in every single one of these. Like, I want to overanalyze the crap out of these things.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of them are childhood. You see Philip, you see his brother, who Hunter is modeled after, you know, almost without a doubt. You know, and I'm going to pat myself on the back here, because we learned Hunter is modeled after Philip's brother.
Yep.
He's a Grimwalker.
Yep.
And Philip's true identity is Emperor Bellows.
Yep. Everything you predicted came true. I was specifically impressed that you predicted all of the Hunter stuff, that he was specifically modeled after his brother. Because when he makes that comment, "Oh, you look the most like him out of all of them," that was it right there.
Yeah.
That confirmed it. So,
yeah. And,
props
you know, like, you see the pictures of the two, thank you. You see the pictures of the two brothers, both as kids and a little older. And when they're a little older, you see the brother's silhouette. I'm going to call the brother Caleb, because if I had to make an educated guess, that was probably his name. If we've had any hint at what his name is, or was yet. Right. I'm going to go with that, because I think Hunter is a play on, you know, something that we got into later in the episode. But, like, for me, like, Hunter chose the name Caleb as his name in Any Sport in a Storm. So that was also a very common name back in the 17th century, back in the 1600s. So I do think that would be very fitting.
Yeah.
If that was Philip's brother's real name. Now, it looks to me, he was holding hands, he was close with, presumably a witch, you know, and Philip looked very angry. And
his brother?
Philip looked angry. The brother seemed to have fallen in love with a witch.
Oh, there was a picture of that.
It was with a female. Yeah, it was one of the paintings.
Oh, wow.
And I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts that it was a Clawthorn, or a descendant of an ancestor of the Clawthorns. Not a descendant, an ancestor.
Could be.
And And that's where the whole thing with Flapjack comes in, because there's still that open-ended question of, if all the Palismen, when you join the Emperor's Coven, if your Palisman gets taken, why does Lilith still have one?
True.
But, you know, and I think that could be a tie-in, you know, also could portray into Flapjack and into, you know, because into the bird design that we've seen, you know, in Gravesfield and also on the back of Hunter's cape. Now, poor Hunter went through such trauma, and I don't want to underrate what Luce went through in this episode either. We see Kid Bellows, which is really the inner Bellows, and we see the combined souls of all the Palismen that Bellows have inhaled, like making one giant embodiment while they're in there.
Yeah.
Another image that I want to point out, like we see the Collector in a moment that would have taken place after Eclipse Lake, because Hunter brought the key back, which of course was missing at least half the Titan's blood.
Yep.
Now, so we got to meet the Collector. Now there are theories running around that the Collector is going to possess Luce, and that's what that drawing was that Dana drew. Amphibia fans would know a certain comparison to this. I can't say it here because my dear friend is not caught up on Amphibia, and this would be season 3 spoilers. But it's definitely an interesting theory. I don't know how that would end up going. There are fan comics of it already, but yeah, we'll see. But I think, you know, it was really cool to see the Collector and to hear Dana confirm that the Collector pronouns are he, him, and they, them.
Oh, okay.
So, and, you know, like, we learned Bellows' motives.
Yes.
But before I get into that, like, there was one last picture in his mind that was brought up, and this was brought to attention. This was Hunter's inauguration as the Golden Guard. And Hunter sees the picture and says, "Why does Darius look so sad?"
Yeah.
Well, we learned a few episodes ago that Darius idolized Hunter's predecessor, the previous Golden Guard. And we learned that they were all Grimwalkers. We saw a Golden Guard graveyard where a whole bunch of the masks were just torn up. So there have been a lot of them, and you know, and Bellows did say that Hunter was the one that looked the most like his brother.
Yeah.
And so my guess as to why Darius was sad, because his mentor didn't just retire; he was killed. And you know, and in that regard, I believe the previous Golden Guard was killed for learning what Bellows was truly up to. The same reason that he was going to get rid of Hunter, that he tried to kill Hunter.
That would make sense.
And that would mean the previous Golden Guard would have been the one that tipped off Darius to what was going on, and thus turned Darius into a resistance witch. And probably Everwolf as well, because the three-hooded characters that we saw Triangle originally that were going to be the ones to go into the Emperor's mind, I mean, we already know who they were. We saw them give the potion to Ida, and that was Rain, Darius, and Everwolf.
Yeah.
So all three of them are resistance witches, Everwolf included.
Too. That's crazy, because I didn't think Everwolf seemed like this character. I mean, we don't know anything about Everwolf yet, but we do know they're kind of friends with Darius, right? Like, they were together on that one episode. So, like,
but they're also... Everwolf was trolling the crap out of Darius at the end of Ida's Requiem by turning that video way up. Because it clearly bothered Darius to have to listen to that. And he's like, "Could you please turn that off? We're supposed to be tormenting Rain." And Everwolf turns the volume up to max. Everwolf was definitely seems like a troll.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love this episode. I love it from top to bottom. You know, like, this was, you know, as someone whose favorite episode up until this point was Agony of a Witch, like, you know, this is the first one that's really been able to hit that ballpark for me. And I mean, knocking on Hootie's door came close. But obviously, you know, looking at all of it, we see the whole past thing, Bellows being very sinister about it, saying, you know, "Call me by my real name. It's been so long since I've heard another human call me by that name." And he shows Luce the memory that she obviously, you know, they're recent for her, and it's like, oh my god, I helped cause this. I helped create this monster. I taught him this glyph that's allowed him to make these spells. And Hunter, you know, ends up saving her at the end. They both get out, and he's like, I can't go back. He knows we were in there, and he runs away. Now I can only hope that he's going to see Willow. I kind of ship those two now, but I still ship Hunter with therapy more than anything else. But
oh man,
that poor kid needs therapy.
Yeah.
And so does Luce especially after that episode.
Definitely.
But you know, I'm curious about her way of explaining this to Ida. I think they will get in contact with the 3 resistance witches that are coven heads that we know, and we've seen all of them very briefly in the beginning of Hunting Palisman, and we saw by seeing them we learned that we also saw the construction coven head all the way back in the episode Covent.
Oh.
He didn't, you know, he was just there.
Yeah.
But it is the same. It's the same character. So many things happen, you know, and we learn, you know, he's a witch hunter, which I think is where the name Hunter came from. Now, if I can get controversial here for a moment, you want to talk about the most controversial thing that I think, even more than the death of Luce's dad, even more than, you know, the controversy, which I hate saying that there's any kind of controversy in this because I wish there wasn't and there shouldn't be. You know, people speculated that, you know, was the LGBT thing the reason why this show was axed? You know, why Dana had to fight so hard just to get to season 3. Well, Bellows, or rather Philip, whatever you want to call him, appears to me, and I could be wrong, but he appears to me as a 17th century Anglo-Saxon Protestant, like, priest type. Like someone who would have been involved in the Connecticut witch trials, which took place at the same time period that he was from. They predate the Salem witch trials, and given that, you know, we know the Wittabanes are from Connecticut, and that's where Luce is from, he could have seen his brother falling in love with a witch as sacrilegious. He said he had to protect humanity from evil. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to merge the realms and bring witches over to the human realm. He wants to merge the realms and commit mass genocide on witches and demons.
Yeah, because he just doesn't like them. You know,
which, you know, like, in reaching out, we learned from Warden Wrath that the belief is that the draining spell is not going to be, you know, very friendly to magic users. And with everything that came up, you know, that we see the messages with with Rain and Darius at the end of the Breaks Kid, and now in this episode, and this guy is essentially pulling the witch trials by trying to mass murder. It looks like and it's not, you know, like, I don't, you know, this is, I hate having to put it this way, but it's like, this is what he was probably taught growing up.
Right.
He sees witches and demons as evil and he wants them gone. But it is a very closed-minded approach, and it's very sad. But, like, and, you know, you think about the way things were, especially in those colonial days. Like, this was before the Declaration of Independence by over 100 years, you know, or the American Revolution. This was before the Salem witch trials, even. Like, but this was a thing in that part of the country at that time period. So, like, Dana, acknowledging real history and also painting the villain as a strong religious character, I think, would, even more so than any kind of controversy that could have come up from LGBT, is really what I think got the show, really put the nail in the coffin. And it's very bold and brave of Dana to go there. It's a very sensitive topic to a lot of people, and understandably so. And, you know, I'm not going to go after anyone for their views, their beliefs. I believe everyone should be able to have their own views, their own beliefs, etc., etc. and no one should be picked on or bothered for that. You just do not harm other people because of something like that. And it's very real and accurate in portrayal to 17th century Connecticut and, you know, the Anglo-Saxon Protestant colonists. And it's scary. But, you know, back in Young Blood, Old Souls, Bellows did say to Luce, you probably think we want to invade the human realm. But that, you know, he said the Titan's will is not so boorish. Well, he can't talk to the Titan. We know that. Mm-hmm. But, you know, he doesn't want to invade it. He wants to go home, but he wants to eliminate, you know, because the witches, or a witch at least, came over to the human realm in the 17th century, which is how he got to the demon realm. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want to risk that happening ever again because he sees that as sacrilege.
Right.
That they could ever be present. So rather than just exiling them in their own realm and risking them finding a way through again, he wants to get rid of them.
Right, and which says a lot about, like, you know, discrimination of any kind, especially considering, you know, the century that he is from. So I think that if Dana did base this off of true history, I really do think that's brave, and I think that's, like, something that might be even more impactful in a cartoon than just coming up with an original idea, because putting that in a kid's cartoon and educating them on something like that is really brave and important, I feel. And I do think that if that is what she's doing, but I do think that in general,
I think so too.
I do think Bellows is an interesting villain as well, like you and I talked about that one night, because
very.
Because I feel like he isn't just, he truly believes in this, and he
truly believes that he's doing good by his rate, because that's what he was taught growing up. No matter how evil it, or how, you know, no matter how bad it is, I mean, it's mass genocide that he's trying to commit.
And he's not evil, like.
But he doesn't believe that he's doing evil, and it reminds me a lot of White Diamond.
Yeah, a little.
And you know, whereas the Collector really is the wild card here. We don't know the Collector's motives. We don't know what the Collector is capable of, other than what we saw in Knocking on Hootie's Door.
Right.
All we know is Bellows said to the Collector, "You'll get to have your fun." We don't know what that means. Like, the Collector, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I'm getting Bill Cipher vibes.
Me too.
A very quirky, goofy character that I feel like has this supernatural ability to do things that we don't know, that we may not be able to comprehend just yet. And I mean, you and I have both seen Gravity Falls. We saw what Bill Cipher was capable of.
No, and you know what? I am, like, so obsessed with the Collector, and I was telling you this, like, after I first saw his character. Like, I am literally obsessed. Like, I just think... I am so fascinated. Even the voice, like, it sounds youthful, but there's such, like, a mischievous sort of, like, darkness behind it.
Very sinister. Very sinister.
But also very, like, just kind of like, yeah, whatever, I'm bored. I want to cause chaos for the sake of it. Like, that's a scary villain. Like, a villain that just wants to cause chaos because they're chaotic. Like, I just feel like the Collector...
It's really interesting to think about that, given the way we looked not that long ago at characters like Kikimora, and now at Terra, and it's at Odalia, and it's like, this character, I feel like, could do so much more than all of them combined. I mean, and it's unbelievable what, you know, the possibilities are endless, and I still am not entirely certain if, like, we know Bellows, like, I get a very, like, I've said this before too, I get a very Final Fantasy vibe with Bellows and the Collector, where, like, if anyone who's watching or listening in has played Final Fantasy IX, would be a fantastic example, where you take the embodiment of evil at the end, or you could even take Garland, and compare one of those characters to the Collector, and then compare Kuja to Emperor Bellows. Or you could take Final Fantasy IV, where Emperor Bellows is effectively Zemus, or even Golbez, but the Collector then is Zeramis, and where it's like just that embodiment that's non-human, that's non-witch, it is a cosmic entity. Like, I don't want to say like a god, but it's in that same supernatural kind of territory.
Yeah, and he's intimidating because he is the only character that we've seen so far in the show that doesn't fit into any specific category like that. Except for King, but we're kind of guessing that King is a Titan, so he probably
there are two theories on that. I stand by my theory that King is a Titan.
Yeah.
The other theory I've seen floating around is that he may be a Stone Sleeper, which is the demon we saw in the skull in the flashback during Elsewhere and Elsewhere.
Okay.
Now, I've taken a couple looks. I'm standing by he's a Titan, especially now that the rest of Luce's Titan blood from Amity's old glove is gone.
Right.
Because they had to use the rest of it to fuel the potion to get Hunter and Luce out of the Emperor's mind.
Yeah, so it's like, how are they gonna have access to that again? But
I don't believe the Emperor has enough.
Yeah.
I think he needs more. And I do believe that King and his species, we know there's at least two of them alive from that screenshot. One of whom presumably was the one that dropped the letter off that Hootie ate. Hopefully we'll learn, I want to see King's reaction to when he hopefully finds out about that. And I want to know what that letter said. Maybe Hootie can owl pellet him and he can go in and get it. I don't know. I don't know how birdworm demon digestive tracts work.
I know.
I have no idea. But I'm really excited because this next episode called Edge of the World is heavily about King, his past, and it's supposed to apparently something very tragic. So buckle up, everybody, because we may not have another lighthearted episode for the remainder of the season.
Oh man!
Maybe there will be one somewhere, but maybe Labyrinth Runner is the one after, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. But after that, we've got O Titan, Where Art Thou, and then the last two are Clouds on the Horizon and King's Tide. So, again, the theme of the Titan, the final episodes, two of the final three, O Titan, Where Art Thou, and King's Tide, man, he's got to be a Titan. Come on.
Well, I mean, if the last episode has King's name in the title like that, that's saying a lot. That King is obviously a very important piece of this puzzle, and I know we've been waiting to talk about this for so long. But I will say, for now, I'm very excited that we got a lot of things confirmed.
We did.
Also, we got to meet the Collector, and I do feel almost like I'm not big into Final Fantasy, even though I wish I was, but I do remember what you were saying about it last time. I do think it's quite possible that, even though Belos is the big intimidating character who's doing this whole thing, King. The Collector, I think, might be the big bad of the series and more powerful.
I think the Collector is the puppet master they're referring to when they say Steven Season puppet strings in the secret message.
Because he says
I need to go find out those two most recent words because I don't have the last two.
Oh, okay. Well, it could be him because I got some vibes too in that one scene with him and Belos, with the short little interaction we see with them. He says something, the Collector's I feel like he was egging Belos on to
oh yeah, he definitely
evil.
Was.
He makes a comment at one point, he's like, hey, you like this, don't you? You enjoy it. You like causing pain to others. And it's he's feeding off that, which is a really scary thing.
And he's also messing with Belos's head.
Yeah.
Which really, when you it really tells me that I don't believe that this character has an ally anywhere. I believe they're a chaotic individual.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the Collector as falling in the lines of chaotic neutral to chaotic evil.
Yeah, me too.
With potential for chaotic good, so probably closer to chaotic neutral, but I think we're going to see a line of chaotic evil. Whereas Belos in the Boiling Isles, he would be seen as lawful evil by anyone who knows what he's doing. But ultimately, and I always say this, the scariest villains are lawful evil. That is the scariest personality type because they don't get punished for their crimes. Whereas chaotic evil can, they could snap at any moment, but at least you can catch them, and they, like chaotic evil is like the Joker.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
Yeah, true.
Absolutely horrifying.
Yeah, because there's an unhinged
lawful evil is, these people don't get caught. Even when they know, like anyone finds out, they're killed.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. But I guess we're gonna have to find out. I just love that we have more insight into Belos. We have some comments here. I just want to read really quick if that's cool.
Yeah, definitely. We should go through these.
Joseph Alaric says the colonists of New England of that time all thought they were doing God's will. They abused the Native Americans in many ways, which led to King Philip's War just after Belos left.
Yep.
So we have a history
ironic
here.
Ironic because Belos' name is Philip.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree with all of it. Like that's historically accurate, and then you throw in the witch trials because, and again, like the fact that this show, like there were outcries from people, from religious extremists against the show. This, as soon as it dropped, because it had witches and demons, and then later on LGBT. But I think the fact that there's now, like, at least appears to be a full-on religious undertone, it's so incredibly bold. It's very brave by Dana. She, bravo to her for being bold enough to tackle an issue like this in this sort of thing. And I think, it's not meant to paint Christianity or any religion as evil or bad. It's meant to show, I think, that just because someone isn't a Christian or isn't, doesn't fit in with the flow, and that part's been a theme since the start, like that's not a bad thing. I mean, their prison is literally called the Conformatorium, and they put people there who don't fit in.
Yeah.
And that goes all the way back to the first episode. And I think that's really more the bigger picture. But I think with how historically accurate this is shaping up, it is really incredible. And I don't know if she's leaving it up to the viewers to figure that out, or if this is something that's actually going to really come up during the show.
I mean, I think if it does, it would be pretty exciting and something very, definitely something very, like a very heavy, mature topic for a kid's cartoon, which I think is great. I mean, I feel like in general, the generation below us, I feel, is like so much more informed and just so much more intelligent and empathetic in general.
Well, and the more informed people are, the more they're able to be open-minded about a lot more things.
Absolutely.
Which is huge.
And
I love that. I love that my kids are growing up in a setting where they're able to. I mean, my daughter grew up watching Steven Universe when she wasn't even a year old.
Yeah.
My daughter's going to be 7 next month. My son will be 4 in July. They both loved Steven Universe. They love the Owl House. They like Amphibia. And they also enjoy, the movies and stuff, like my daughter loves Cars 3, even though like it's a little bit older now at this point. Like, I mean, she loves it, and that's amazing. But I love the broad spectrum of, all these things that kids are being taught. Like, this is okay. This is normal. Absolutely. Like, you don't have to fit one mold. It's okay for boys to play with dollhouses. It's okay for girls to play with model cars, like, you don't have to be a boy or a girl. You can be non-binary. You can be you can be who and what you want to be, and regardless of how you were born. And and I think that's so beautiful. And
me too. It's beautiful to see that in cartoons.
It means a lot to me. So I will have my King plush on standby for. Hopefully, we'll be able to do one next week talking about Edge of the World.
Yeah, definitely. And we have some really nice final comments I want to read quick. King Hijink says,
Definitely, yes.
With how great and diverse the representation is in the Owl House, Bellows is the perfect villain who goes against all the themes of the show. Agreed. And then I love that they said, and Luce is the perfect hero because she sees all the beauty in the Boiling Isles and is such an accepting and loving person. Absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
And I think it's that love and that non-judgment and that curiosity to understand those different than her that's going to make Luce our ultimate hero. Because she's really done that in this whole show. Like, she's never judged anyone. She's been intrigued by learning about all these beings in the Boiling Isles and, like, befriending them and helping them. And I really do think that Luce just is such a positive light energy source. And I love that comment about her. And then it says, it was pretty awesome how Hollow Mind was able to tell a second story about what happened between Bellows and his brother through the paintings. Yes, we talked about that earlier on.
Someone in a Facebook group I'm in actually posted a thing with all of the paintings in it, and I'm like, I'm grabbing this and saving it to my phone right now.
I need to check
I'm just going to go ahead and dissect each and every one of these.
Yeah, I need to look at it still.
Yeah, I think I texted it to you. I'll check. If I didn't, I'll send it to you.
Please do, because I didn't see them yet. But I'm sorry, I just want to give those
stories. It's like the Austrian painter guy. Which one?
Yeah,
are we talking about like Vincent van Gogh? I don't really know the nationalities of a lot. I mean, I know Da Vinci was Italian.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. But
I think like Van Gogh. Us weirdos have to stick together. Yes.
I agree. I love that. We do. And that is such a positive way for us to wrap up our conversation. Us weirdos have to stay together. Absolutely.
All right. Well, we do have an outro that we've done the last 2 times, so I don't know if you want to do this again on Countdown.
Of course. And honestly, of course, we're going to do this again and talk about the next episodes. So I hope you guys will join us again.
Ideally, hopefully be able to do this once a week, and talk about each episode. So we have Edge of the World coming up on Saturday, and I know you'll have your YouTube reaction prior to that, and then we'll be able to take a deep dive. Oh, okay. German art. Oh, okay.
Gotcha. A German guy. Okay.
Okay. So, on a countdown then?
Yeah, on a countdown, and we'll see you guys again next time. We're probably going to try to do a weekly thing.
So much. Yeah, we're trying to get this weekly ready for these last 5 episodes.
Yes. So
all right.
3, 2, 1.